Church, my husband took our babysitter on vacation. I saw the photos online. The notification popped up on my phone while I was stirring pasta sauce for dinner. Emma Thompson tagged you in a photo. My heart skipped a beat as I clicked on it, expecting to see another cute picture of my daughter Lily from earlier that day. Instead, my wooden spoon clattered to the floor, splattering red sauce across the kitchen tiles like a crime scene. There on my screen was my husband Marcus, shirtless, on a pristine beach, his arm wrapped around our 19-year-old babysitter Emma. She wore a tiny yellow bikini and a smile that made my stomach churn. The caption read, "Paradise Found, Cancun Vibes." Best week ever. I stared at the photo, my mind refusing to process what I was seeing. Marcus was supposed to be in Chicago for a medical conference. He'd kissed me goodbye just 3 days ago, complaining about how boring the presentations would be, how he'd miss Lily's dance recital, how he wished he could stay home with us instead. My hands trembled as I scrolled through Emma's profile. Photo after photo appeared like evidence in a trial I hadn't known I was part of. Marcus and Emma sharing cocktails at sunset, Marcus teaching Emma to parasail. The two of them at a candlelit dinner, her hand resting on his across the table. Each image was a dagger, and I felt myself bleeding out right there on my kitchen floor. I'd hired Emma 6 months ago when I'd returned to work as a marketing director after my maternity leave. She was a college sophomore studying early childhood education with glowing references and an infectious enthusiasm that Lily adored. I'd thought I was so lucky to find her. Marcus had been skeptical at first. "She's too young," he'd said. "We need someone more experienced." But I'd insisted, and eventually he'd agreed. Now I understood his initial reluctance had nothing to do with her qualifications. The front door opened, jolting me from my spiral. "Mommy, we're home." Lily's voice rang out, followed by the sound of her backpack hitting the floor. "So in the kitchen, sweetie." I called my voice surprisingly steady. I quickly locked my phone and shoved it in my pocket, then knelt to clean up the spilled sauce. Mrs. Patterson, our neighbor who'd picked Lily up from school, appeared in the doorway. "Everything all right, dear? You look pale." "Just clumsy," I managed, forcing a smile. "Thank you for getting Lily." After they left, I sat with my daughter at the dinner table, watching her chatter about her day while pushing spaghetti around my plate. Every few minutes, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Messages from Marcus, probably. I ignored them all. That night, after tucking Lily into bed and reading her favorite story twice, I finally looked at my phone. 17 missed calls from Marcus. Dozens of texts escalating from casual to panicked. "Hey babe, conference is going well. Call me when you get a chance. Sarah, please call me. I can explain everything. It's not what it looks like. Please, Sarah, let me explain. I'm coming home." I turned off my phone and poured myself a large glass of wine, then another. I sat in the dark living room, surrounded by the life we'd built together. Our wedding photos smiled down from the mantel. Lily's artwork covered the refrigerator. Marcus's golf club stood in the corner waiting for his Sunday game. Everything looked exactly as it had this morning, but nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, I called in sick to work and dropped Lily at school early. I needed time to think, to plan, to figure out what came next. But first, I needed information. I drove to campus and parked outside Emma's dorm, my hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. She emerged at 9 a.m. looking fresh and carefree in jeans and a college sweatshirt, her blonde hair pulled into a messy bun. The same girl who'd sat at my kitchen table just last week, gushing about her boyfriend Tyler and their plans to backpack through Europe after graduation. The same girl I'd trusted with my most precious possession, my daughter. I followed her to the coffee shop, my heart pounding. When she sat down with her latte, I approached. "Hello, Emma." She looked up and the color drained from her face. "Mrs. Chen, you're back from Cancun." "No, that was you." I sat down across from her, proud of how calm I sounded. "We need to talk." "I'm so sorry," she whispered, tears already forming in her eyes. "I never meant for it to happen." "Tell me everything," I said. "And I mean everything." The story tumbled out between sobs. It had started 2 months ago. Marcus had driven her home after babysitting one night when her car wouldn't start. They'd talked in the driveway for an hour. He'd told her she was mature for her age, that she understood him in ways I didn't. The classic lines of a middle-aged man pursuing a younger woman. "Now, he said you two were basically separated." Emma continued, mascara running down her cheeks. "That you were only staying together for Lily." I laughed, a harsh sound that made her flinch. "We made love the night before he left for his conference. We were planning a family vacation to Disney World. We were trying for another baby." Emma's sobs intensified. I'm so stupid. I'm so sorry. When he suggested I come to Cancun, said he had an extra ticket because his colleague canceled, I should have known. You should have known the moment my husband made a pass at you, I corrected. You should have told me immediately. I know, he made me feel special. My boyfriend had just cheated on me with my roommate, and Marcus was there telling me how beautiful and smart I was. I stood up, unable to hear more. You're fired, obviously. And if you ever come near my daughter again, I'll have you arrested. Clear? She nodded miserably. I left her there crying into her coffee and drove home to face the wreckage of my marriage. Marcus's car was in the driveway when I arrived. I found him in the kitchen, unshaven and red-eyed, still wearing the same clothes from the photos. Sarah, thank God, I've been so worried. Get out. Oh, please just listen. I said get out, I screamed, surprising us both. Pack a bag and leave. You can stay at your brother's or a hotel, or with your teenage girlfriend for all I care. Just get out of my house. Our house, he said quietly. And she's not my girlfriend. It was a mistake. A terrible, stupid mistake. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. A mistake is missing a dentist appointment. Taking our babysitter on a tropical vacation while lying to your wife is a choice. Multiple choices, actually. Each one a deliberate betrayal. He sank into a kitchen chair. I don't know what happened. I've been feeling so old lately, so invisible. Turning 40 hit me hard. And Emma, she laughed at my jokes, looked at me like I was interesting. It was like being 25 again. Oh, you think you're the only one who feels old, who misses being young? I carried your child, Marcus. My body changed. I can't sneeze without peeing a little. I haven't slept through the night in 3 years. But you don't see me running off with the pool boy. We don't have a pool boy. Not the point. I slammed my hand on the counter. The point is, marriage is hard. Life is hard. But we promised each other we'd face it together. Or at least I thought we did. Marcus buried his face in his hands. I know. God, I know. The whole time I was there, all I could think about was you and Lily. I kept almost calling you, wanting to hear your voice. I'm an idiot. Yes, you are. I pulled out my phone and showed him the photos. An idiot who documented his affair on social media. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? He stared at the screen in horror. I didn't know she was posting those. I told her to keep everything private. Oh, well, as long as you told her to be discreet about destroying our family, I guess it's fine then. We sat in silence for a moment before he spoke again. What do you want me to do? I'll do anything, Sarah. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I love you. I love our family. Please don't let my stupidity destroy everything. I looked at this man I'd married 8 years ago. The man who'd held my hand through 18 hours of labor, who'd cried when Lily took her first steps, who still brought me flowers every Friday just because. The man who'd thrown it all away for a week of feeling young again. I want you to leave, I said finally. I need time to think, to figure out if there's anything left to save. He nodded and stood. I'll pack some things. Can I say goodbye to Lily? She's at school. You can see her this weekend. Supervised. We'll tell her you're traveling for work until I figure out what to do. The next few weeks passed in a blur of lawyers, therapists, and sleepless nights. I threw myself into work and Lily, trying to maintain normalcy while my world crumbled. Marcus stayed with his brother, texting daily apologies and pleas for forgiveness. I deleted them all unread. Emma dropped out of school and moved back home according to the gossip I heard from other moms who'd used her as a babysitter. Part of me felt bad for her. She was young and had made a terrible decision, but a larger part felt she'd gotten what she deserved. One evening, 6 weeks after the Cancun discovery, I was bathing Lily when she asked, "Why doesn't Daddy live here anymore?" I'd been dreading this moment. Daddy and Mommy need some time apart, I said carefully. Sometimes grown-ups need space to think about things. Is it because of Emma? She asked, playing with her rubber duck. I heard you yelling about her. My heart sank. What did you hear, baby? You were mad at Daddy about Emma. Did she do something bad? I chose my words carefully. Sometimes adults make choices that hurt other people. Daddy and Emma made some choices that hurt Mommy. Oh, she was quiet for a moment. I didn't like Emma that much anyway. She always smelled like bubble gum and she let me watch too much TV. Despite everything, I laughed. Well, we'll find a better babysitter. Someone who smells like cookies and makes you read books. Can Daddy come home if he says sorry? I don't know, sweetheart. Maybe. We'll see. That night after Lily was asleep, I finally answered one of Marcus's calls. Sarah, thank God. I was starting to think, I'm ready to talk, I interrupted. Not reconcile, just talk. Meet me at Starbucks tomorrow at 10. He was already there when I arrived, looking haggard but hopeful. We found a corner table and I let him talk first. I've been seeing a therapist, he began. Dr. Morrison, he's helped me understand why I did what I did. Not that it excuses anything, he added quickly. But I've been dealing with depression, anxiety about aging, fear of death. Classic midlife crisis stuff. And instead of talking to you about it, I acted out in the worst possible way. I'm glad you're getting help, I said. But therapy doesn't erase what you did. You didn't just cheat Marcus. You pursued a teenager, our employee, someone Lily trusted. You lied to me for months. You took her on a vacation you told me was a work trip. Do you understand how many levels of betrayal that is? I do. Believe me, I do. I've done nothing but think about it for 6 weeks. I've lost weight, can't sleep, can barely function at work. Jim says I look like death. Good. He winced but continued. I know I have no right to ask, but is there any chance, any possibility you could forgive me? I'll do whatever it takes, Sarah. Couples therapy, complete transparency, a post-nup giving you everything. If I ever stray again, I'll quit my job and be a stay-at-home dad if that's what you need. Just please give me a chance to prove I can be the husband you deserve. I stirred my coffee, watching the cream swirl. I've been seeing a therapist too, Dr. Patel. She's helped me understand that forgiveness isn't about you. It's about me. About letting go of the anger that's eating me alive. Hope flickered in his eyes, but I continued. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean trusting you again. I'll never look at you the same way, Marcus. When I see you, I see those photos. I see you choosing her over us. I see every lie you told. I understand, he said quietly, but people work through infidelity. Marriages survive. We could... some do, I agreed. But it takes two people willing to do the work. And right now, I don't know if I have it in me. I'm exhausted, Marcus. I'm trying to hold it together for Lily, for my job, for everyone who keeps asking if I'm okay. I don't have the energy to rebuild a marriage you demolished. We sat in silence for a moment before I continued. I need more time. I'm not saying divorce, not yet. But I'm not saying reconciliation either. Right now, we focus on Lily. You can see her every other weekend and Wednesday dinners. We'll be civil friendly even for her sake, but that's all I can offer. Marcus nodded, tears in his eyes. I'll take it, and I'll wait. However long you need, I'll wait. I'll keep working on myself, keep proving I can be better. Because you and Lily are everything to me. Everything. I left him there with his cold coffee and broken dreams. The months that followed were a careful dance of co-parenting and cautious interactions. Marcus was true to his word. He showed up for every visit with Lily, never pushed for more than I offered, and continued his therapy religiously. He sent me updates from his sessions, not asking for responses, just sharing his journey. Lily adjusted better than expected, as children often do. She enjoyed her special daddy weekends and seemed to accept our new normal. I threw myself into being the best mother I could be, finding joy in her laughter and strength in her resilience. One evening, almost a year after Cancun, I was scrolling through Facebook when another notification popped up. This time it was from Emma, a message request I almost deleted without reading. Curiosity 1. Mrs. Chen, I know I have no right to contact you, but I needed to say something. I've been in therapy too, working through why I made such terrible choices. I was dealing with my own issues. Daddy problems, self-esteem issues, the cliché stuff that doesn't excuse anything but might explain it. I wanted to tell you that you didn't deserve what happened. You were nothing but kind to me, and I betrayed that kindness in the worst way. I'm deeply sorry. I don't expect forgiveness or even a response. I just needed you to know that I understand the pain I caused and will regret it for the rest of my life. I hope you and Lily are well. Emma. I stared at the message for a long time before deleting it. I didn't need her apology, but I appreciated it nonetheless. We were all broken in our own ways, making terrible choices and living with the consequences. As the seasons changed, so did my perspective. The sharp edge of betrayal dulled to a persistent ache. I started dating tentatively, mostly to prove to myself I could. Nice men who brought flowers and opened doors and didn't take teenagers to Cancun. But something was always missing. You still love him, Dr. Patel observed during one of our sessions. That's okay. Love doesn't just disappear even when trust does. So what do I do with that love? I asked. Whatever feels right to you. There's no rule book for this, Sarah. Some people reconcile and build stronger marriages. Some divorce and find happiness apart. Some stay in limbo forever. The only wrong choice is the one that doesn't align with your truth. My truth was complicated. I did still love Marcus despite everything. I missed our family unit, our inside jokes, the way he knew exactly how I liked my coffee. But I also valued the strength I'd found in myself, the independence I'd reclaimed. I wasn't sure those two truths could coexist. The turning point came unexpectedly at Lily's school play. She was playing a sunflower in the spring production, and both Marcus and I attended, sitting separately as we'd done for every event that year. But when she came on stage forgetting her line and freezing in panic, I felt Marcus tense beside me. Without thinking, we both started mouthing her words, willing her to remember. She spotted us, saw us together, and suddenly found her voice. After the play, as other parents congratulated us on our beautiful family, I caught Marcus's eye. He smiled sadly and started to move away, respecting the boundaries I'd set. But I touched his arm. "Want to grab ice cream with us?" I asked. "To celebrate?" His face lit up. "Really? Really, but just ice cream. Don't read anything into it." But of course we both did. Ice cream led to dinner the following week, just to discuss Lily's summer schedule. Dinner led to coffee meetings that weren't about Lily at all. Slowly, carefully, we began talking. Really talking. About his depression, my loneliness, our fears and failures and hopes for the future. "I'm different now," he said one evening as we walked through the park, where we'd gotten engaged 13 years earlier. "I know that sounds like something every cheater says, but I mean it. I've done the work. I understand why I did what I did, and more importantly, I've addressed those issues. I'm different too," I admitted. "Harder in some ways, less trusting, but also stronger, more aware of my own worth." "I always knew your worth," he said softly. "I just lost sight of my own and tried to find it in the worst possible place." We stood by the pond where he'd proposed watching ducks glide across the water. "I can't promise I'll ever fully trust you again," I said. "There will be days when I remember and hate you all over again. Days when I check your phone or panic when you're late. Can you live with that? Can you," he countered, "can you live with always wondering, always doubting? You deserve better than that, Sarah. You deserve someone who never gave you reason to doubt." Maybe," I said. "But I also deserve the chance to choose my own path. And maybe that path includes forgiveness. Real forgiveness, not just words. What would that look like?" I thought for a moment. "Counseling. Together this time. Complete transparency, phones, emails, everything. No overnight work trips for the first year, and a post-nup that protects me and Lily if you ever betray us again." "Done," he said immediately. "All of it. Anything else?" "Time. Lots of time. We're starting over, Marcus. Not picking up where we left off. We can't. That marriage is dead. But maybe we can build something new." He nodded, hope and caution warring in his eyes. "I'd like that. A new beginning." We didn't kiss. We didn't hug. We just stood there, two broken people considering the possibility of healing together. It wasn't a fairy tale reconciliation. It was messier, more complicated, full of setbacks and small victories. Couples therapy was brutal. Dr. Kim didn't let either of us off easy, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths. Marcus had to face not just his infidelity, but the casual sexism that let him see Emma as an escape rather than a person. I had to acknowledge my own role in our communication breakdown, how I'd ignored signs of his unhappiness, because it was easier than addressing them. "I'm not saying you caused his affair," Dr. Kim clarified when I protested. "His choices were his own. But marriages fail in many small ways before they fail in big ones. Understanding those patterns is crucial if you want to build something healthier." Slowly, painfully, we began to rebuild. Date nights that felt like first dates. Conversations that went deeper than we'd gone in years. Marcus showed me his therapy journals, pages of self-reflection and remorse. I shared my own writings, the angry letters I'd never sent, the grief I'd carried. There were setbacks. The first time he had to travel for work, I panicked, calling him obsessively and checking his location. He answered every call, patiently sent photos of every meal, even FaceTimed me from his hotel room to show he was alone. It was exhausting for both of us. "This isn't sustainable," I told Dr. Kim. "I can't police him forever." "You're right," she agreed. "At some point, you have to choose trust or leave. There's no middle ground that works long term." The breakthrough came when Emma returned to town. I ran into her at the grocery store, both of us freezing in the cereal aisle. She looked different, older, more subdued. The bubblegum smell was gone, replaced by something more mature. "Mrs. Chen," she said quietly, "I'll go. I don't want to make you uncomfortable." "Wait," I heard myself say. "How are you?" We talked for 10 minutes. She'd finished school at a different college, was working at a preschool, had been in therapy for over a year. She was dating someone age-appropriate. Someone kind who knew her whole story. I'm glad you're doing well, I said, meaning it. Are you? She asked carefully. Doing well, I mean, getting there, I admitted. It's a process. I heard someone mentioned you and Mr. Chen are working things out. We're trying, it's complicated. Good, she said, surprising me. I mean, not good that it's complicated. Good that you're trying. You two, when I babysit for other families now, I see the difference. You and Mr. Chen, even when you were just passing each other in the kitchen, there was something there. A connection. I think that's partly why I let myself. She trailed off, flushing. You were looking for something you saw in us. I said, understanding hitting me. But what you saw was built over years through good times and bad. It can't be stolen or borrowed. It has to be earned. I know that now, she said. I'm sorry, I'll always be sorry. I know, I said. I forgive you, Emma. Not for you, but for me. Carrying anger's too heavy. Her eyes filled with tears. Thank you, that means thank you. I left the store feeling lighter than I had in months. That evening, I told Marcus about the encounter. How do you feel about it? He asked carefully. Free, I said. Like I finally let go of something I didn't realize I was still carrying. That night, for the first time since Cancun, I reached for him. Not sexually, just a hand on his arm as we watched TV. He froze, then slowly covered my hand with his. We sat like that, barely touching both of us, afraid to move and break the spell. Recovery isn't linear. There were good days when I remembered why I fell in love with him. Bad days when the betrayal felt fresh. Days when we fought about nothing because we were really fighting about everything. Days when we laughed at Lily's antics and felt like a real family again. 2 years after Cancun, we renewed our vows. Not in a big ceremony, that felt false. Just the three of us in our backyard with Lily as our witness. Marcus had written new vows, acknowledging the pain he'd caused and promising to spend every day earning the second chance he'd been given. I promised to try, not to forget, but to forgive daily, to choose love over fear when I could. Do you take Daddy to be your husband again? Lily asked very seriously in her role as officiant. I didn't, I said, meaning it. No, do you take Mommy to be your wife again and promise not to be stupid anymore? She added, making us both laugh through our tears. I do, Marcus said. I really, really do. We planted a tree that day, the three of us. A symbol of new growth, of putting down roots after a storm. It's thriving now, taller than Lily, who's 8, and asks complicated questions about why people hurt each other and whether love's enough. Love isn't enough by itself, I tell her. It needs trust and respect and choice. Every day we choose to love each other even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Marcus and I aren't the same people we were before Cancun. We're scarred, more cautious, but also more honest. We've learned to talk about the difficult things, aging desire, disappointment, before they fester. We've learned that marriage isn't a destination, but a journey with detours and breakdowns and unexpected views. Sometimes when he's sleeping, I study his face and remember the stranger in those beach photos. The man who chose excitement over commitment, youth over history. But then he opens his eyes, reaches for me with the familiarity of years, and I see my husband. Flawed human mind. Emma sent a wedding invitation last year. Neither of us attended, but we sent a gift and genuine wishes for her happiness. She's marrying the age-appropriate boyfriend, starting her own journey of trust and commitment. I hope she's learned from our mistakes. I hope they all have. The truth is, every marriage faces moments of choice. Moments when the grass looks greener, when escape seems easier than effort. Marcus chose wrong spectacularly and publicly. But in the aftermath, we both chose to try. To dig through the wreckage and see what could be salvaged. Not everyone would make that choice. Many would say I was foolish to try that. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Maybe they're right. Maybe Marcus will betray me again, and I'll be the fool who gave him the chance. Or maybe we'll grow old together, our crisis becoming just one chapter in a longer story. A cautionary tale we share with couples who think they're immune to temptation. Would you do it again? Dr. Kim asked in what would be our last session. Knowing everything, would you take him back? I thought about Lily, about the family we'd rebuilt, about the hard-won trust we'd cultivated. About the man who now checked in constantly, not because I demanded it, but because he never wanted me to wonder. About the marriage that, while different from our first one, was in many ways stronger. Ask me in 10 years, I said. It's been 5 now. The tree we planted is strong, weathering storms and seasons. Lily is thriving secure in the love of both her parents. Marcus and I have found our rhythm. Not perfect, but ours. We've had to face other challenges, his father's death, my mother's cancer job losses, and teenage rebellion. But we've faced them together, no longer taking that partnership for granted. I still have bad days, triggers that bring it all back. A yellow bikini in a store window, the smell of bubble gum, photos from tropical vacations on social media. But the good days outnumber the bad now by far. Do you ever think about her? I asked recently on a rare date night. Who? Marcus asked, genuinely confused. Emma Cancun, all of it. He set down his wine glass, taking my hand. Every day, he admitted. Not her specifically, but what I almost lost, what I nearly threw away. It keeps me grounded, grateful, determined never to be that man again. Good, I said. The day you forget is the day we're in trouble. We clinked glasses, two survivors toasting our imperfect rebuilt life. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new tests of the foundation we'd rebuilt. But tonight, we were just Sarah and Marcus, choosing each other again. The photos from Cancun still exist somewhere in the digital universe, monuments to the worst choice of my husband's life. But they're buried now under thousands of other photos. Lily's first day of middle school, our family vacation to Maine. Marcus's 45th birthday party, where he laughed about being middle-aged and meant it. Pictures of a life reclaimed, a family restored, a love that survived the unthinkable. Not everyone gets a second chance. Not everyone deserves one. But sometimes with work and grace and the stubborn refusal to let one mistake define an entire life, people can surprise you. They can grow and change and become worthy of the trust they broke. Or at least that's what I choose to believe. Every single day I choose to believe it. And for now, for us, that's enough.